and we are back to the final run of our big Sega block. After Arabian Nights, we're going back all the way to the first Prince of Persia, but not, as I said, not the DOS port, but the Sega Master System port. And with me, I have petaQ, who will run this game for us. So the stage is all yours.
Hello everybody, how are you doing? My name is petaQ, I am the friendly Klingon speedrun warrior, and today may be a good day to die, as we say on Konos, but I don't really want to die. I just want to show you this amazing port of Prince of Persia for my beloved Sega Master System, the console I grew up with. We've got a lovely little animated cutscene to begin the game with here to show you what it's all about. I think you all know, but we'll show you anyways. The blonde princess in the tower is being harassed by the rather evil Jafar. He's not an orange, he's just a very bad man. And he decides to say, I'm going to give you 1 hour, princess, to marry me, or I'm going to kill you. A little bit far forward as far as a come on goes, but, you know, there we go, Middle Ages, what can you do? Off he goes. Princess is a little bit scared, but not to worry, because the boyfriend, the boy, is going to go all the way up through the tower, through the dungeon, and rescue her in 60 minutes or fewer, or you get your money back and a free pizza. So this is going to be an any percent run of the game. Should take 15 to 20 minutes. If you are ready, we will begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So into the game, and level 1 is reasonably sedate. I have got some time to explain what's going on. So we've got some beautiful rotoscoped animation, and you might notice, if you're familiar with the DOS version, that I am leaping quite a large distance here. There are also plenty of things like bunny hop setups that I can do right there, which make me leap further than you would otherwise anticipate. This makes no sense at all. Now, some of these levels have been slightly reworked from the DOS version, such as this, which was not meant to happen there. Open that door. We do have to go left to get the sword. We are going to get something lovely for our effort, however. Lovely piece of music by Matt Furness there, one of the greatest composers on the Master System. So now that we've got the sword, we can actually start doing some interesting stuff with this game. And Prince of Persia is a grid-based game, so everything I'm doing is setting me forward a set amount of pixels. You'll notice there, however, I was able to snap to grid, which is extremely useful. So here, for example, I'm not at the ledge, but I press up and I get snapped to it. Makes everything a little bit quicker. And now that I've explained exactly what's going on in this game, I'm going to start breaking it because I'm bored. So I'm going to do a natural run stop here, turn around, get the sword out, and I'm just going to break the x-axis completely and skip that fight. Why not? What the hell is going on, you're wondering? I don't even know myself. Let's see if I can also skip the password screen. Yes, I can. Going to do the same thing at the start of level 2, buffer a turnaround. And all of this may look like black witchcraft and sorcery to you. I will assure you it looked like that to me as well until this year when I started looking at this game. And it turns out that we can break the y-axis as well in much the same way. And the author of this run really is Tasco DLX, who is a legend and a very strong speedrunner. He pioneered a lot of the discoveries in this. There is also now a task going to be published in the next few months, as we kill the guard there, which has got even more tricks and discoveries, some of which I'll be able to show you today. So really, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants with this, as we go into another fight here. I'm going to grab a safety potion, just up my health limit to 4. The prince is doing a lot of parkour, to be fair, he is a very thirsty boy. Now this fight here is interesting because I might have to get a parry. So that parry there really shouldn't be happening because I'm playing this room the same way every time. And that is because of something called lag. So lag is like when you eat a bit too much of a beef burger and you're a bit logy and discoordinated afterwards for a while. And the Master System, bless it, is a really beautiful console. You can see the graphics and sound are top notch. But there's a lot of animation going on. So sometimes even if you do everything the same way, you might get very slightly different results. Now, let's not just break the x-axis, let's break walls as well, because apparently this castle tower is made of non-Newtonian concrete. We're going to go into level 3, and level 3 introduces the chomper, which I can get through quite safely. Those of you who know Prince of Persia are now extremely confused, because not only am I breaking the x and y axis, but I'm going the wrong way. Now, this is because there is another skip here, where instead of going the long way around with a skeleton, I can just boop, clip through, activate the door, do some precise inputs in the correct order here, go back the way I came, and skip the entire of level 3. Now, there is a skeleton in this version. I will say to you all, hug your skeletons. Skeletons deserve love just as much as anything else. We're going to skip through a mesh door. We're not going to have any princes tinned prince chunks here today, no sorry. We're in this beautiful golden purple castle. It's really ornate and gorgeous. This version was praised highly, and rightly so, for the graphics. It does take some artistic liberties, and it does have a little bit of jank to it, but it's broken in the player's favour. So be careful with these spikes. And we're also going to skip a large part of level 4 by doing this. The mirror is meant to come up here, and we're going to, in theory, jump back through it, but I don't really need to. Got a nice little setup to get through the chompers here nice and easily. Instead of activating the mirror, I'm just going to wrap around again, because I'm lazy. Now, the shadow does still appear. It would be lovely if we could actually avoid that and just, like, finish the game at level 6, but, you know, what are you going to do? Here is one of the new skips that Aen, the Grandmaster of Tassing, found. I'm going to do a couple of creeps like Radiohead, and then I'm going to press left, duck duck, and we've just skipped the entire of level 5. That saves a minute. With all the new skips that have been found, the world record may eventually get down to either the 14 zeros or the 13 x's. I won't quite be able to do that, because even with all of this stuff that I'm making look easy, or at least very well rehearsed, Tasco makes it look even easier. So let's trick a guard by moving from behind to get him to move forward. This makes no sense. Slightly more reliable than trying to do the left clip here. We are soaring through this game, no problem at all. Level 6, I'm going to do a specific setup with one step there. Because spikes in this game are very slightly janky as well. You can walk past them, but you can't walk through them. So sometimes, again, if you're playing this casually, it can be confusing because you don't exactly understand it. But I am the #1 most prolific speedrunner on the Master System. I've ran 67, 68 of the Master System games. Do a little bit of shoulder exercise here, why not? Into the dungeon we go again. And because of that, I understand the game reasonably well, so I've ran Lemmings as well, and Marble Madness, both of which are again part of the common core 80s PC gaming puzzle set. Level 7 is also kind of a joke. I can just skip the entire thing by going left here. Anytime I'm doing one of these setups, I'm basically in the first few pixels of the screen. This guard can't touch me, haha. We're going to go back and get the floating potion, so we can get down nice and safely. Now, all of you who run Prince of Persia #1, type 1 in the chat if you dislike level 8. And someone please type a 1 for me, I dislike level 8 as well. Level 8 is a giant pain in the 8-bit backside, even though I can do a big old leapy skip like that. Now that makes no sense, because you would think everything is scripted and controllable. You can see I'm just buffering jumps here, but above me we've got chompers, and the chompers can desync and be a pain, so sometimes they will hit you no matter what you do. More wraps. I have, however, found a nice setup on this screen here, which is new. So we do a natural turnaround, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shimmies, shimmy shimmy cocoa bop, and then we've got a perfect setup to avoid the droppy block there. He's cost me a few runs, so that's quite nice. Turn around, every day I get closer and everything falls apart. And I've also got a pixel perfect position here, which is going to enable me to get through this chomper without being touched. Lol. Just make sure very carefully there to get through. Now, this one here, I'm actually going to pause buffer because of that lag, because we don't want to fall behind in the marathon. We'll do a wrap here. We'll do a wrap here, I said. There's a chomper in the middle there, but it won't actually trigger until you are killing that fight. Knock into the door there. That's going to enable me again to get through here perfectly. And again, I'm going to take a little bit of time. Hopefully this comes off first try. Good. Those chompers can just ruin your day. There's a mouse that comes out here. If you're slow, we're not going to see the mouse. I've already watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't need mice giving me IQ tests, thank you very much. Turn around. Up into the palace we go again, level 9. Another setup because we've got a sneakily positioned closed door exit button here, which I'm not going to touch, thank you very much. And to those of you out there who are laughing at just how broken this is, I will tell you it is far better than the NES version, which is the reason that I am here with you today. Because I volunteered to try and play the NES version for an event in June, thinking I know Prince of Persia, how hard can it be? Joke was on me, because a few hours later I had a headache, I was confused like a Psyduck, I've never wanted to touch that piece of crap again. But I watched a David Newton video. He did a wonderful job comparing all the home ports and console versions. He agreed that the NES is trash. He didn't really like the Smuch one either, as we do another little clip there. And I can understand why, but when you understand the Master System, this is really a joy to play. And it's definitely one of my favourite speedruns to do on the system. I would encourage everyone watching to do at least one Master System speedrun. For me, if nothing else, because there's only really about 20-25 active Master System speedrunners, we really are underrepresented. And it is a joy to be able to present this to you. Up into the palace area, we've got a guard there who's also going to be skipped. We don't have a fat guard in this version, we don't have the vertical lap potion. It's all relatively simple looking. Ooh, that was close. Fights as well are relatively clean. As long as you know how to push forward and just when you're going to have difficulties because of lag, like there. So I don't even need to worry about bonking my head here on some very dodgy masonry. Now Tasco in the world record has disavowed pushing toward these guards like I'm doing here. I don't know if that's just a function of his absolute mastery of this game or whether I actually have a good knack for it, but I feel like pushing towards them is reasonably consistent. Here's a scary moment, so we'll be careful. Good, good. Teach you how to do this one. We're going to go to the door, and then we're going to reach for the stars like S Club 7. We're going to hop like a bunny. We're going to creep like Radiohead, and then every time we can just clip through. You might also notice I was careful not to remove these falling blocks on the way here, because again, they've ruined my PB attempt recently. And eventually my PB for this should get down into the very low 15s, and that's despite the fact that new skips have been found recently. So that tells you just how high of a skill ceiling there is on this game, as again we clip through solid rock, no problem at all. Prince has been watching Doctor Who. We've got only a couple of levels left, game has gone really well so far. I've got a natural setup here to do a clip, and then there's going to be another of these new task tricks discovered. Shout out to Ian and Tasco. If I do one step forward here, I don't even need to open this gate. Whee! Ooh, that's not good. There's a blooper for you. That's what happens when you mistime your inputs by a very slight amount. Today was a good day to die after all. We'll do that again, that's okay. So because you're moving a set amount of pixels every time with this game, you can try setups more than once often. The only real exception is if you do certain things in the wrong order or lag comes into it, then it can mess you up. This should be okay. I don't like that, I'm going to take it careful. So this is one of those areas where, like, if you jump from this position you would think it was okay, but actually it will kill you in the pit to the left. That's okay. Buffer that. There we go. So again, the combat in this is relatively broken in our favour, as well as all the different physics. It's not that difficult to get a run on the board. I'm going to buffer this jump again, just to be completely safe. One must not be afraid of pausing in speedruns for safety. I learned that the hard way in Lemmings. One step forward, stabby stab. Not long left now. Prince is going to be home in time for tea. Let's activate the exit switch and go back this away and do a precise setup here. And clip through solid wall and walk back through the top of the screen, of course. There are actually a couple of positions in the game where if you do it correctly, you can soft lock because you'll fall forever, which is quite funny to see. On to the final level, or the third final level, depending on your semantics, because level 12 is broken into 3 sections. We've got the tower climb, which is wonderful for trial and error for beginners, and we've got Jafar, and we've got the princess. But I will tell you, at the end of the run, there is one final trick to be done, so don't worry, there's still some trickery to go. And I hope you've enjoyed this run. I love that I can show this off for you. The Master System is underrepresented. And I will also encourage all of you out there and shout out the Sega Crew Discord, because if you're interested in Sega speedrunning, that is one of the places to be. We hang out there, we have fun with various different events, buffering this jump to be safe, marathons and races, and we would love to have you in there as well. Let's be careful. So again, you would expect that I have to trigger the door exit to get to the shadow fight. This door here, but it turns out there is another trick that we can do and skip this entirely. Not dissimilar to the clip in DOS version, we can just boing through there. We're going to be careful here, you can see all the lag now on the screen. Apparently Jafar has mastered the art of making fire burn even slower. His gas bills must be low, I'm very jealous. And we're going to meet the Shadow, who we never actually decided to split from us. This makes no sense. Reunify with him. And now these platforms that are invisible, you actually have to jump onto, so you can still die here, which is funny. On to the final fight, but we're not going to fight Jafar. We're just going to leave him to ponder his own morality choices, because of course. And then the final trick of the game. And I will remind you, the princess is blonde. Or at least she was in the cutscene. Leaping forward, just to make sure we get this correct. In theory, we might actually be able to finish the run in under 15 minutes that we can do on the option screen. I'm not sure I could do that, but, you know. Here's Jafar. We're just going to wrap around. Tickle, tickle, tickle. No fight for you, old son. I've got business to do. So there's the exit door. We'll do a duck and a wrap around again. And I'm going to be making a tutorial for this. I would love to see more of you do this run. It's absolutely brilliant. A-tier speedrun for sure. Final trick of the game coming up. I'm going to do 1 leap, 2 leaps, 3 leaps, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, -1 creep, and do a jump, and time will be when I press left. Congratulations, you have Michael Jacksoned your way to the princess, who now has red hair and a blue dress. This makes no sense. That was Prince of Persia for the Master System. I think Jafar just wanted a girly night in to do each other's hair and makeup and clothes. Thank you so much for watching. I am sure I will be back with you in another edition of PoPRuns because I like the look of the Game Boy Color version of the game. That looks extremely broken. But until then, glory to you and your D-pad. Goodbye.
Cool. Thank you very much for showing this run, petaQ. This was, as I said, this was the big Sega block. I hope you all enjoyed it. And after the intermission, we'll be back with the last run of the day already, and it'll be close to 4 hours of comfy POP 2K8, no major glitches. So stay tuned for that, and see you in a bit.